And it feels like a Friday, but it sure isn't. A couple more days to get through to that. So we got on a bit of a tear last night. I thought I was going to get this amount of work done. I ended up getting this amount of work done. So it went very well. Very, very well. And did a lot of stuff which frankly came out a hell of a lot better than I thought it was ever going to come out. And this is one of them right here. Now we're not done, but man, are we on the right track. And this just incredible. And you know, I looked at both of these, and the camouflage that I sprayed on them looked pretty good, but I still had some issues with it's called spider webbing. I don't know that I would have called it that. I would have called it something different, but the webbing, and I try to be really careful with the airbrush, and I think I get better with it every time I use it, but still I got a ways to go. But I found out pretty early on, fixing my mistakes, that I can do a pretty good job of hiding those spider webs by doing a dry brush over them. And that's kind of what I've been doing. And I don't know, I haven't really seen anybody doing airbrushing live. And wonder if they don't do the same thing as well, because I'm really detail oriented, and I'm having very minor issues with the spider webbing. Let's put it that way. Because the pattern on this on the camouflage got about the right size, and a couple of these had some spider webs. I'll be damned if they didn't disappear. So anyways, I got so excited about doing these that I brought my other Halftracks that I've had in this stage where it's like, nah, I guess it could come out okay, but I'm not really excited about it. You know, this Kugelwagen, even though I forgot to paint the tire on the front. This thing had been sitting, it had been painted in Dunkelgelb and gotten the brown wash on it for, probably every bit of 2 years. I got motivated to finish that thing last night. Not finish it, but, you know, get it to the next stage. You know, once you get to this stage, I'm like, all right, let's finish the Joker, right? Like at this point, you're like, oh, this is going to come out great. Let's go ahead and knock it out. But I have these other German Halftracks. Now, these are 3D prints. And I've got one more of these, and then many other variants of this. Or many other, I've got the engineering one, the one with a mortar, the one with a radio, and one other one of these. And then I have these three that are, calling them die cast isn't necessarily accurate, because they're more than that. They've got plastic parts in them. And I don't know why they're stuck together, because they actually have a screw to take them apart. But these were already pre-built. Let's put them that way. Let's put it that way. And I've repainted them. Tabino, welcome. But you can see these are some of my earlier airbrushing ones, and that's what I'm going to work on this morning, is to give these two in particular the same treatment that I did these, and see if we can get these, what they call spider webs, to come off. Now, what I mean by spider webs is, now these were probably airbrushed over a year ago, so I was still kind of a noob doing that. I'm still a noob. But you can see the pattern. Let's see if I can get this. And I like showing the stuff that I fuck up and it doesn't come out great, because then I can show you how to fix it. And it's like, oh, that stuff that we see on the internet that looks perfect that guy did. Yeah, it wasn't perfect to begin with. You know, because I find it's really discouraging to see, you know, you see things that are like, you know, you try your first airbrush thing and you're like, man, I'm never going to be as good as that guy. Well, the problem is he made mistakes. He's just not willing to show you, you know. Hello from Russia. Welcome. Oh, I recognize that flag. The reason I recognize that flag is I was looking at one point and doing some stuff in Afghanistan in the late 1800s with the British there. And that's the flag that at that time Russia used. Welcome. So you can see it almost looks like up here in particular. It didn't come out how I wanted it to. Like I said, this is one of my earlier paint jobs. So we'll see how this is going to shine like crazy. We're gonna fix this right up. So, all right. Let's move these ones that are great to the side and work on these two in particular. And the reason I got these is somebody had an estate sale. That means the person died and their family was trying to get rid of all this junk that they had collected. And I picked these up for like $1 a piece. Like, okay, never going to get that again. And I think these were originally made by a company called Altaya. I think I've tracked that down. But anyhow, good times ahead. All right, so my secret ingredient that I stumbled across, and it didn't take very many times stumbling across it to actually come up with it, is this is the base that all of these vehicles have. It's the Ammo MIG Dunkelgelb base. It's for brush. It says brush and airbrush. If you plan on brush painting, don't buy this. Okay, it's great paint through an airbrush. Through a regular brush, you're gonna hate yourself. You're gonna wish your mama never had you. It's just really unsatisfying paint. It's extremely watery. So what we're gonna do is we're going to put it down here, and we're going to mix another color with it from Vallejo, which is thicker, and that will allow us to dry brush them both. Now, why did I pick buff? Because if you look at the Vallejo paint sets, it gives you the two colors to paint the German armor is a color they call dark yellow, which looks similar to this. There's actually quite a bit of green in this. Doesn't look like it, but there's a fair amount of green. It's not a very attractive color coming at it here. And then highlight with this. So this is the highlighter color. And of course, you can do whatever you want. This is what I did, and it kind of works for me. So we're going to do one at a time. And here's the other thing. These are the colors that come from the AK set that says to use on this vehicle. So we've got the Dunkelgelb, we've got what they call chocolate brown, which is, I always thought it was a more rusty color, but this is what it is. And this is the olive grün, which is honestly a lot more gray. It looks a lot more gray than I would have expected. So now those colors originally came in a pail. So they sprayed these in the factory, supposedly, just a yellow color. And then they would give the units different pails of the green or brown or both. I said, here, have fun with that. And then it was an enamel type of base paint that can be cut down with mineral spirits or gasoline or old gasoline. So therefore, the colors that came on it varied a little bit. It wasn't like it was always this color green. Plus, they got weathered and stuff like that. So we've got these two colors. We're going to try to mix them about 50-50 or so. And then we're going to get almost all of them off of our paintbrush and start in the wheels and start highlighting. And this is going to soften all the edges of the camouflage. Or it should. Let's make sure this does not pop off. Comrade Popov. And I don't know why this isn't coming off, because it literally has screws that go in it and they're not in there. Is it just, are we just wedged in there? Yeah. Okay, we want this to pop off because we can access all the interior. That is a lot easier to paint. That way. Don't be afraid to be sloppy. Just don't use a ton of paint when you're doing it. Because then it provides a lot of thickness. But we want this metal, we want this painted metal surface to look like it's didn't come out of a showroom. Now, this model has an error in it. It's not a big deal, but I noticed it, so I have to fix it. The back of the German Halftracks have pair of doors, 2 doors that open outward to get out of the vehicle, right? Good morning, Marcus. We're on a bloody tear. See how they got double doors there? Well, look at the inside. It's completely solid. So we're going to have to paint a little line on there. Well, we don't have to. We choose to. Where am I from? Where do you think I'm from? I always like that. Where do you think Marcus is from? I always like to say, where do people think my accent's from? I have a Morphe accent, which means if I go somewhere else where people talk different, I stay there a while, I'll start talking like them. America, yes, but more specifically. It's like saying, you're from Britain. They talk all kinds of different ways in Britain. Not going to go crazy. This already has a color on it. All we're doing is just adding more wear and tear, emphasis, etc. I have no idea where you're from. But I tell you what, if you think I'm from Los Angeles, you're not from Los Angeles. Florida here. Man, it'd be really early in Los Angeles. Actually, if it was in Los Angeles, it'd be a long time until I had to go to work. That wouldn't be so bad. But then the commute to work would be hell. So I'm glad I don't live there. That I don't do earthquakes. Mm-mm. You're from an Arab country. Well, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, so you could tell that this is where it got stuck because we did that wash on it, and it was stuck on there. That's why it seemed like, man, is this thing bolted down? Algeria. Of course I know where Algeria. Everybody should know where Algeria is. Everybody on here right now knows where Algeria is. Marcus knows where Algeria is. Damn near 6 a.m. Yeah, I gotta wake up and do what I want to do, not wake up and go to work. That's stupid. What do? I wake up in the morning to go to work. Well, that's dumb. I wake up and do what I want to. That's sadistic. Wake up for other people. All right. Now Now let's see if we can fix this, the mess up here. Where is, that's not it. Tell you about it then. Well, I haven't been there, geez. I'm reading a book that takes place in there though, right now, about Operation Torch. There's two places I get mixed up there though. I'm reading the book and I don't get mixed up when I'm looking at the map, but without the map, Iran and Algiers. I know they're both on the coast. I just don't remember which one's on top, which one's toward Tunisia more than the other. But I was reading about Operation Torch that was happening there. And a lot of stuff about that operation that, I mean, I'm kind of a World War II junkie and I didn't know anything about it. It's not well documented. We're just going to go lightly. We're going to go lightly over this, very lightly. You go heavy and then you end up hiding all this. And the only reason we're mixing the buff in with it is to give it some, to thicken it up a little bit. It's like adding cornstarch. I just add Vallejo paint. It's like adding cornstarch to your paint. This M Omega is really, really thin. It is the largest country in Africa. Is it bigger than, I'm going to call it Zaire. I don't know what the hell it changed its name to. Republic of Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. No, we're Zaire. No, we're back to this. Like, okay, Zaire it is. It's the one that's different. Is it bigger than that one? Sudan was pretty big too, but it's split up. Just really, really lightly. That's funny. This thing has better details than the 3D printed in some aspects, and in some aspects it does not. Rahil. Do you think your name is weird? No, I think it's unique. And I don't mean that in a bad way. And it's simple too. It's not like, really, really long. Okay. And then we're going to end up going over this a little bit more with a little bit more of the buff in there. But the secret is take your time. Now, this originally had a camouflage pattern on it. I don't remember what it was, what it looked like, other than it looked cheapo. So we had to be done. We had to get rid of that. That was a non-starter. Especially since I didn't want all three of them to have exactly the same camouflage scheme. Because basically, I don't think that ever happened. I don't think you look at two vehicles of the Wehrmacht and have exactly the same camouflage scheme. Because when you got to the camouflage pattern, that was just That was done in the field. All right, and this inside is visible a little bit, so we are going to want to do this on the inside as well. Now, it might actually take me a while to finish these half tracks because I want to do some research into figuring out how I want to number them. Because there's a million different numbering systems you can use for this. And they're not necessarily going to be part of a unit. But I want them to look individual, but not too crazy if they're all around each other at the same time. Well, if I do have kids, this isn't the channel to talk about them. Why can't I have kids? There's nerdier people than me that get laid. Much nerdier. People that don't wear fucking deodorant and stuff like that. People whose wives don't wear deodorant. Like, All right, now let's step away from this and see what it looks like. All right. Now, it's going to be a little hard to tell because this one actually has wheels, rubber wheels that come off. And it actually has rubber wheels that come off and the tracks that come off as well. I remove them because it makes it easier to paint. Good morning, man. Another day in a row to go to work. Thanks for hanging out with me, Justin, last night. Appreciate it. I got a lot done. Now, I just noticed something. Because this machine gun is actually soft plastic, there's a little line across the top of it. Let's not open that upside down. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. The machine gun's going to get painted anyways. And the only thing I dislike about soft plastic things at this point is they have this flash that you can't just scrape off. You can't sand off. You have to slice off like it's extremely... Oh, it's harder than I thought. That's what she said. Might not actually be that soft of plastic. That's good. Volkswagen should remake that car. Volkswagen should remake a lot of things. They had a car in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Volkswagen here, at least in the States, called the Corrado. It's a two-door coupe and just looks, I think it looks great. But, well, it's underpowered by today's standards, but that's like something I'd drive. I'd drive something like that. I'm a two-door coupe stick shift kind of guy. But they still, I think, make Scirocco's. or they did for many years. They haven't made those in the States in a long time. But you know what? I don't think I'd like a Volkswagen because Volkswagen is one of the first people that puts all these apologist shit in cars. And by apologist things, I mean, hey, look, Volkswagens, let's be frank, they were made by the fucking Nazis, right? So it's a Nazi car. They try to take over the world and exterminate people. So now they go to the other extreme. Oh, we got to save the earth. We have to have this engine that turns off every time you're at a freaking stoplight. I'm like, really? You're freaking, I'm going to go through another freaking starter. I'm only at the stoplight for a minute and a half. And to be honest with you, I didn't even want to stop here. I wanted to keep going to the damn intersection. So they just go from one extreme to the other. I don't want a car that has all this shit, that automatic lights and none of that crap. And all this stuff that people want, but it helps you, but it disconnects you from the freaking driving experience. I'm not interested. Yeah, I don't know how many. I think it's got like 30 horsepower, something ridiculously small. You see these videos of these things going through the mud, and you're like, that's not going to end well. It is a cute little bastard, though. See, Marcus, by not having a vehicle, you don't have to worry about having a vehicle. It has all these safety things on there. These crash alerts. You'll be driving along, right? And you're coming up on somebody and they're getting ready to merge off, but somehow your car thinks you're going to run into them and hits the freaking brakes and scares the crap out of you like something happened with the car. I don't want all that stuff. I don't want that stuff. My car actually doesn't have that. My wife's car has it, but my car doesn't. That's why I chose not to release and just keep this car, because it doesn't have all that nonsense. People want that stuff because people want to have their head in their phone while they're driving a freaking car. And because people have their head in their phone driving a car, I don't even listen to anything. I'm like watching everybody like, that guy's acting crazy. Let's hurry up and pass him. He doesn't know what he's doing. That person's drunk, Freaking loose cannons. Yeah, proximity alerts. Like, dude, like, pay attention, man. Pay attention. Oh, I can't afford to pay attention. I don't have good credit. Yeah, you have bad mental credit. And the third one is here. Let's do that as well. So have you resisted getting any Panther Ds yet? I can. That's not on the schedule right now. I don't need more stuff. Just like I'm excited doing the desert stuff, I'm like, oh, let's do some other things in the same time. Okay. Let's continue as we were. Now I'm going to take this. Oh, this dries up. This dries up quick for a watery ass paint. Where I live, you need 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. After having an all-wheel drive vehicle, I don't think I could go back. Actually, my wife's is an all-wheel drive vehicle as well. I don't think I could go back. When we first got it, it was really weird because we're going on the highway. Tires are new. I think it doesn't behave weird. It doesn't behave well when all the tires are brand new. Like, all the tires are trying to fight for supremacy. So you're going down the road, just straight, not even doing anything, and it's doing this kind of stuff all the time at a really small level, but you can feel it. You feel like, like every wheel is trying to. It's like you have too much grip. Going like 80 miles an hour on the interstate. Yes, I go over 70 on the interstate. It's safer. You got to avoid some people. But so they're like fighting for primacy, right? And after a while, they like chill out, and it's better now. But I remember getting, I'm like, man, this car is like weird, man. It's like brand new and it's like, it's jittery. Not when it's turning, when it's just going straight. And then that straightened itself out. Yeah, I got all-wheel drive, but I don't have winter tires. We don't need those here. I've really got to switch my tires out. I'm waiting until the next oil change and just doing it at the same time. If I end up getting them there, I don't know. We got tons of tire places all over the place here, but they all have horrible reputations. You know, like the kind of places like if you went to an oil change, you're like, yeah, it was quick, it was cheap, but they forgot to put the bottom of my oil thing back and I had to go back. I don't want to go back to the place. Ain't nobody got time for that. It's funny that I wouldn't think of Michigan as a place where you would need four-wheel drive, and you do for the snow, just because of, it's relatively flat where you are, isn't it? I mean, it's like the plains. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, is this one stuck also? Probably. No, it's not flat. Yeah, I would love to have a Jeep, but they're too expensive. They're you're paying for a lot of stuff that I don't need, and I don't think they're safe. You get into a side impact with a Jeep, and you're effed, and they're sluggish. But they cost twice as much as a regular car. I'm like, I can't justify that. I can't justify that. Now, if you use it, that may have to be a little different. This is your favorite vehicle? Is it? Well, these vehicles have a lot of fans. The problem with these vehicles is that there was a lot of leeway that was given to the vehicle crews how to camouflage them. And the problem is some people just don't have good taste, right? It'd be like, you know, We want you to color something, and they give you 64 colors in the crayon. And this motherfucker uses every damn color. It's like, no, you got to pick a theme. Like, you can't, just go crazy. It's going to look, don't be all Jackson Pollock and shit, I mean, there's some of these camouflage schemes that if I tried doing them, it would look wrong because they just look like they just out of control. Or, hey, this is a nice camouflage scheme, but shit, it's winter. It's not winter. It's the muddy season, so they take mud and smear it all over it. Like I went through some kind of a car wash of dog poop. What is my favorite vehicle? I don't have one. I don't have one. I like too many. I like these. I don't think these are towards the top. I don't like the back angle. I don't like the angle of that. That's really the only gripe with these things. But hey, I didn't get to design them. And look how the steering wheel is on them. I don't know if many people know that. But if you get inside of one of these, you're almost like laying down and you steer like this. And the steering wheel's like facing up. And they do that just to save space. Because if it was upright, then you'd take up another 6 inches or something like that. And these vehicles aren't for comfort. Lata. That's a can in Spanish. You have a can-do attitude? Lata, welcome. I don't know if the inside of these vehicles were anything other than the outside of the vehicle. I don't think they paint them that buff colored. If they did, I'm not going to do that. It wouldn't look right. Never seen anybody do it. Okay. I'm probably going to remove this antenna and put my own in. I don't know that they have too many of these in working condition. They had a couple of post-war copies. I think the Czechs or somebody like that had a little half-track that was inspired by this. The same way the Swiss have a Hetzer, or had a Hetzer. I think it's the Czechs. Call it an OT something or another. Now, this is more German half-tracks I know what to do with. But it does allow you to, I don't know how to paint this. I like this paint scheme and this one. So I do them both because I got enough half-tracks. As soon as I say, hey, I'm wargaming, why do you need so many of these? I said, I don't know. Why do people build, I know one person builds Mustangs. They have like freaking 30 Mustangs. I don't mean the car. I mean the freaking airplane. They like them. It's just something to do. Well, we're really getting close to that magic 2,000 subscribers, so I don't know what I'm going to do when we get to 2,000. Piss off 1,000 of you guys and still be monetized. I don't know. Hope not. I'm not here to piss people off. Hey there, welcome back. Had still production line of German stuff after. Hey, they still had production stuff after the war. They stuffed BF-109s with bomber engines and sold them to Israel. Huh. What bomber engine did they use? I know that they used the 190s. Aren't the late version of the Focke-Wulf 190s? Don't they have the bomber engine in them? Because I think all the German bombers were radial engined, the bigger ones. So can you put a radial? I don't think you can put a radial engine in an inline frame. I mean, a 109 is very, very cramped. Very, 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 very cramped. I've seen pictures of people in a 109, and it's like, man, you're screwed. There's no comfort there. But aircraft is definitely my World War II weak point. I didn't play very many aircraft games. I mean, other than flight simulator stuff, and that was a long time ago. And maneuver warfare is interesting if you're talking about it in ship form or in land form. When you get into the air, it's boring. I think it's boring as shit to be like, all right, we're these planes and we need to intercept those bombers. So instead of going right at them, we're going to go at this weird angle and then come and circle back and come in from the sun. Like, that's just like a pain in the ass to do in a game. Now, in real life, you better do that or you're going to get killed. So, that's a little different, but. And a VL 199. Huh. Junkers Humo. I'm pretty sure the Dora, the 190 Dora D9 had a bomber engine in it. That's why its nose was so damn long. Northrop Captain Riz Sparrow. Northrop YB-49 is one of my favorites. What is that? Why do I feel like that's that aircraft that has the wings that sweep forward? Man, if I get that right, I'm going to take the rest of last night off. What? Come on. I had a friend of mine whose favorite plane was a Valkyrie. Didn't work out too well. One of the most attractive aircraft of all time, and there's a lot of them, is a B-1 bomber. I'm not really a fan of like modern aircraft, but a B-1 bomber has some sweet lines on it. And so does that Russian thing. What's it called? The Backfire? And the bear. The bear looks really good. I don't care if they're a piece of shit or whatever. That's irrelevant. What is this? Northrop? Northrop YB. The Y makes it sound like it's experimental. Oh, a flying wing. It does look better than the new flying wings we have now. That'd be a boring model to build, though. No? It does look pretty cool. It definitely looks like it's inspired by the secret weapons of the Luftwaffe. They had one of those flying wings as well. Do you have any winter camo stuff? I have two. Area 51. Are there people that... You've seen my winter stuff, right? I got two T-34s. There's going to be more coming this year. I don't have any snow on it. I don't know that I'll ever have any snow vehicles with like snow like staying on it, but let's flip this. There we go. And these are old models. They're not very good. Well, I haven't had them a long time, but they're old. This is a model 1941. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. They're both 40s. They're both model 40s. They're really bad models. They have this. All of them had this the tow hook that was molded on the side here, and the problem with it is that it's molded exactly the same way on every tank. It's molded the same way on every tank, and but you can see it's an old mold, so it just kind of disappears there. So I just kind of had to make the best of it. And then here's the other one. These are old Skytrex. Hinchcliffe Skytrex. Voice not coming. It's not muted on my end. So they're going to have some friends that'll, well, not friends. There's going to be some Germans they'll have to fight here later on in the year. After I get farther along on my desert project, we'll probably do, or maybe not this year, maybe 2026. So only two snow vehicles. Mainly I want to use that washable paint, which it doesn't work great in the intention that it's done for. It just makes a good base color. Yes, I painted the slogan by hand. I painted all my slogans by hand. I really enjoy doing that. I really enjoy painting the slogans. I figure I do a decent job at it. Might as well do it. I mean, if you're decent at something, do it. You can spend a lot of money and a lot of time trying to look for the right slogan. By the time you do that, just hand paint. I mean, they were hand painted on the real vehicle, and they're probably neater looking than the people that painted on the real vehicle because I'm not hopped up on vodka. I had this daughter's ex roommate last semester. She was up here. She got evacuated from her college, from the college they went to last year because of one of the hurricanes. And she came and spent a few days up here with her. And I was working on stuff, and I was showing her the tanks that I was doing. I wasn't even showing her the slogans. And she's from Macedonia, so she speaks Greek. And she goes and looks at my tank and says, "Why does one of your tanks say tiger on it?" And I'm like, "You can read that?" Like, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, I got some things to show you." And she was able to read all my inscriptions. But still, the finest moment is when I did one of my Arab armies, one of my Middle Eastern armies, and there's this one. I wanted to do this banner that they used, and I had this one guy that I know, this Facebook friend, I should say, knows somebody that speaks Arabic, and he showed it to him. It's like, I was able to read the whole thing. I'm like, wow, I was able to like paint something, and it was discernible by somebody, and like I don't know what the hell I'm writing, and the guy like knew what I was writing. I mean, I didn't invent it out of nowhere. I'm like, I saw a flag, and all I have to do is transfer that onto another one. Just take it one stroke at a time. Yeah, I like doing stuff like that. I like doing stuff like that a lot. Hey, you don't have to worry about the decals. Um, have that shine on them, which of course means you don't have to wait for it to dry. All right, we need to bring this up. When I covered this in the shade color, I didn't go out of my way to make it as thin as possible like I did with these. I did the lightest coat I could with it on purpose, because I didn't want the yellow to be very shaded. But that's okay. It's not like they wash these vehicles. Yeah, these dry brush brushes get abused a lot. Yeah, brightening that up a little bit. You paint your own slogans and stuff on stuff too, don't you, Marcus? I just had never done all the crosses and stuff. Which, by the way, I did find out where all those little Skytrex crosses were. They were in the same. They were in the same area where those Italians were. In other words, somewhere they shouldn't have been. All right, now we're kind of close, at least. Now let's make things pop. I do more now. Yes, you've inspired me. Good. That's what I'm here for. I've always painted some tactical signs where I don't have decals. Yep. Just take it one stroke at a time. Literally, that's it. And sketching it makes a big difference. I don't know why. I mean, I'd sketch it in pencil if I could, but the pencil just isn't small enough. But sketching it out in a color that's not going to be the final one helps tremendously. I don't know how I decided to try that, but I don't know if these bolts are accurate, if they have got these rivets where they're supposed to be. I'm fine with painting them where they are. Some things I can't be bothered with. That's one of them. That's what I'm here for. Have you guys try stuff that you normally wouldn't have tried. Like, look, it's safe. I did it. Look, when it goes wrong, do this. I mean, I have stuff goes wrong all the damn time. It's just not terribly wrong. You know, after painting these, I'm like, I'm really going to enjoy doing the engineer half track. This got a lot of stuff going on. You have an early morning call tomorrow, so you won't be on. Catch you on the weekend. All right, man. Be well. Don't work too hard. I shouldn't say that. Work smart. A lot of people I got to deal with that don't work. They don't work smart. See, these are areas that we're going to end up going back and adding a little bit of rust, but I want them to have that shade in there first before we go and add the rust. It's acrylic. It's not like one's going to wake the other one up. That's the problem with enamels is they'll wake each other up. You got to put like a clear coat in between them. already done this side, supposedly. Oh, yeah. This is probably one of the most time-consuming parts of this, but it's well worth it. It's going to make your vehicle pop at a distance. Got another 5 minutes or so. What's up, Phil? To get most of your hobby supplies and models from Amazon? Well, I haven't. Yeah, Amazon's not really good on models. Um, Amazon actually hasn't been very good lately. Sometimes you can get some deals on there. Most of the time, not really. Good to see you in Spain. Friendly time zone slot. In the Spain friendly time zone slot. Well, that's me in the mornings. I've been pretty consistent to doing things in the mornings now, even on work mornings. Makes me hate going to work less. They haven't managed to kick you out of the country yet, have they? They haven't realized there's a Brit living there. Now I know why you guys moved to Spain after seeing how dreary Britain is. Man, that cloud cover is something else. Spain's like Florida, like sunny all the time. I was not expecting to see more orange trees, though, than we have here in Florida. Building work at home, so last few weeks bit busy. Would never go back to the UK. You came from New Zealand. New Zealand is like Australia's Scotland, right? I think I heard somebody say that one time with all the sheep and stuff like that. You wouldn't go back to New Zealand? So you're not going back because of the driving on the wrong side of the road, also. I couldn't live in a place that the driving's back assward. That's ridiculous. I couldn't even figure out how to cross the road. I'm like, how come there's nobody coming because the traffic's this way? Son of a bitch. It's like you're drunk all the time. Yeah, I wouldn't dare drive in Britain or Australia or any of those places. That's just asking to have an accident. And actually, the driving in Spain was just fine. The parking was, I expected it to be, what was not expecting was those parking garages to be as tight as they were. That's just absurd. That's some primitive shit. You know, I went in this parking garage and there was literally mere millimeters in between cars. That's like, no, cars are too expensive to be that close to each other. I could live in Spain. I don't want to work there because I have no idea what that's like. I could definitely live in Spain. I liked all the walking that I did. I need to do that. I lost weight. I liked all the Spanish beer, man. No, I liked it. I liked it. I felt like I was where I needed to be. We have to run two cars, one for travel and a small one to park in Marbella. Beautiful sea, Marbella. There are several things that really surprised me about Spain, and the one thing that probably surprised me the most is how many small businesses there were. Because small businesses here in the United States are just like there's less and less every day, and you would think that the United States would be the most business friendly country, but I guess that's not the case. You know, we're all living this dream that doesn't exist. Um, and Man, the food prices were so much less in Spain, like damn near half in some cases. But food's gotten here so damn expensive. After COVID, even before COVID, It's cheaper in Spain than pre-COVID prices here in the States. Now, gas isn't, but how much gas do you get and how often do you eat? It's actually a fair trade, if you ask me. Okay, Justin, don't get hurt. Have fun in inventory. No, it's not. I don't think it's this time of the month to do inventory. Man, I hate inventory time. Yeah, there's one place that we were passing through. We're like, oh, let's go check that out. We never were able to make it to the place. We never made it to the Roman ruins in Merida. Couldn't get there. We're on this one road, and it's like, should we be driving on this road? I mean, it looked like we were doing something like illegal. And I don't mind parking 9 blocks away and walking to where I need to. That doesn't bother me. I mean, as long as it's not a thunderstorm, but the weather was great. I didn't mind that, but I was like, I shouldn't even be here. Still, but getting consolidated all the time. Running business is a bit harder here. New Zealand, it's easier, and virtually everyone is an owner operator there. Yeah, we had too good a time. This was the only trip I've ever taken to another country that when I got back in the United States, I was like, eh. Instead of like, God, I love this country, kissing shit. That wasn't the case. And I like that. And one of the things that's really simple, that's a really simple thing that makes a big deal is just being able to go somewhere where you can drink the water and not get sick, or eat the food and not get sick. And I don't mean like heavy sick, but just like it's not an issue. It's just like you felt you can drink the water from the sink and you're fine. I've never experienced that in another country. It's like I'm going to another country. It's going to be in Europe. And I just mean to visit. I don't want to go to other places. There's too much of Europe. There's too much of Spain we still haven't seen. But man, I felt right at home. My country of origin. Yep, I felt it. I felt it definitely. And I have no family there at all that I know of. If I do, it's from way back. So my wife put in for her citizenship through her mom. I can't do that because my dad's gone. My mom passed away when I was 4. No records. And that's not the country that they came from. My dad's grandfather came from Spain. So, but I can't wait to go back. RJ, you were here yesterday. You need to do something more memorable, like, make an ass of yourself or something. Please don't. Don't do it on my account. Don't be one of those people that wants to be remembered. Just be yourself. People will remember you. No, we had a great time. And we left my daughter in really good hands. She was with a nice lady. She's with another student that's really nice. And, somebody commented, well, now that you're back in the States, do you feel like you're unsafe again? And I'm like, I don't feel unsafe in the United States. Like, I don't live in New York City or Chicago or a violent shithole, you know? You guys are paying attention to that news that they're feeding you guys from what happens in the United States. That's not accurate. But it was nice to walk around everywhere. Because if you don't live there, you might as well not have a car. And it didn't feel like a car would have solved any issues. Once we're like, okay, we're going to stay in the city kind of thing. Yes, she's in Sevilla. Yep. Yeah, but she's living the life. She just had a long weekend. She went to Scotland. Uh, she's going to Austria another weekend while she's over there. And I think she's going to Paris. But I don't want her going anywhere where I'm really needed as a guide. I would have wanted to go to Scotland, but you know, I'm out of days. I'm out of vacation days. All right, speaking out of vacation days, I'm out of vacation time. I got to go to the bloody salt mines. Anyways, these things are turning out spectacular. So, and I think I'm going to finish them all. When I do them all, we're going to have a 5-pack. Actually, I got 2 more regular half tracks to do. And we got the mortar one. We got one with the radio equipment. They're all 251Ds. I may put a 37 millimeter in one of them. Could cut it down. I got enough 37s I can cannibalize one of them, and if I fuck it up, I'll be okay. But yeah, we might do that as well. So really enjoying this. Well, thanks for stopping by. All right, folks, we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.